Max knew she should be happy to see her parents. And she was, of course. Given everything she had been through, the thought of a loving hug from her family was one that brought an overwhelming sense of warmth. But that was merely a murmur behind the anxiety of trying to figure out how she should handle the situation. They would have to talk about the storm. They would have to talk about Joyce. They would talk about how wonderful it was to have both of them there and safe. All the while, she'd be trying to come up with the best lie that would separate them again. "This is the street?" Chloe asked, the truck already making a slow turn onto it. Max sat up and blinked, taking in her surrounding for the first time in about an hour. It was her neighborhood. When she lived in Seattle, she loved the culture and most things about it, but something always seemed to be missing. Maybe it didn't exactly feel like home. Seeing it now, the familiar streets and houses, released a new strike of pain through her. "This is it," she replied quietly, her voice cracking. The truck jerked to a sudden stop. Chloe quickly turned to look through the back window, then fell limp against the seat. "All right." She sighed the word. "Are you ready for this? Do you have a plan for this yet?" "Not even close," Max said, turning to regard Chloe. "I have no fucking idea what we're going to do. How we're going to explain that we need to leave." She nervously fiddled with the cord of her hoodie. "They're going to want to basically lock us up." "Yeah," Chloe responded. "You said we have 5 days, right?" "That's the theory." Max stressed the word. "It's taken 5 days all 3 times, but I don't really want to fucking gamble. 2 days at most. That's how long we stay." Chloe nodded. "Better safe than sorry," agreed, she said. Her eyes drew tightly shut for a moment and her head lolled downward. "I don't want to talk about this shit. I really don't want to." "I know, Chloe." It really only took 2 days together again for Max to know Chloe didn't particularly like acknowledging horrible things. It was evident in her behavior since the storm. She had cried a few times in front of Max, but they were brief and quickly forgotten. It certainly didn't seem like it was enough to properly grieve the loss of a parent. The loss of your home, the loss of everything you had. If she had moments where she truly broke down, Max hadn't seen them. "I'll try to work around it as best I can." "Thanks," Chloe replied, and the truck rocked into a slow movement. One more turn and they were on Max's street. She had thought about what it might be like to come here with Chloe, but never under these circumstances. Truthfully, almost nothing had managed to work itself out the way she had imagined just a few weeks ago. As her house came into view, she drew in a deep breath and found herself with an iron grip on the inside door handle. She tried to talk herself into the right mindset. Calm, collected, fine. She couldn't let them see how bad it really was or they'd never let her leave. The last thing she wanted was to sneak off without a word. Her feet had barely touched the tar of the driveway when her parents burst through the front door, arms extended as they cried. "Oh God, Max," her mother sobbed, crushing her in a hug. There was an added, stronger pressure as her father joined. However good she had thought the hug would feel, it felt 100 times better. Calm, collected, fine. She hugged them back, losing herself in their embrace. "We're so glad you're okay," her dad said, "we were so worried." The sound of a car door closing tugged at Max's attention. She pulled her head up enough to see Chloe standing there, uncomfortably wringing her hands. Her mother noticed it as well and looked at the girl. It seemed like for a brief moment, she couldn't believe it was the same Chloe she used to know. As the slightly confused look on her face washed away, it twisted into sadness and she huffed pityingly. "Chloe." "Oh, Chloe," she said, holding her arm out, inviting the blue-haired girl into the embrace. Chloe took slow, unsure steps toward them. Ryan, with tears still glistening on his cheeks, placed a hand on her shoulder. At his touch, she moved more quickly into them. As Max's parents hugged them both, squeezing them together, Max could feel Chloe begin to tremble. Calm, collected, fine, she tried to tell herself. But when she heard Chloe begin to cry in earnest, she couldn't help but follow.